Tim Lincecum and Chris Carpenter are two of baseball's premier pitchers. Carpenter is 13-4 this season and is one of the aces on the Cardinals staff. Lincecum is a two-time Cy Young Award winner who's looking to get back on track. Two National League All-Stars match up in a wild card showdown in St. Louis next. You're looking at the arch here in St. Louis as we come to you from beautiful Busch Stadium. Game 2 of this 3-game series, Giants and Cardinals. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is Mike Krukow. Well, a big win for the Giants last night behind Madison Bumgarner. Tonight, it is the pitching matchup of the road trip, Lincecum against Carpenter.
Well, on paper, it says there's two Cy Young Award winners going at each other tonight with Carpenter and Lincecum. But if you look between the lines a little closer, one of them is struggling, and that has been Tim Lincecum. For the first time in his career, 3 losses in a row, ERA 9.0, and he's not had command, and he's been perplexed as to what to do. However, the good news is he and Dave Righetti got on the sidelines between starts, and they think they found the problem, and hopefully he can carry that correction into tonight's ball game, get back to where he was, and make this a marquee matchup between Lincecum and Carpenter.
And he's had great success against these Cardinals. All right, when we come back, you're going to take a look at the Wall of Fame right at AT&T Park. It's all about Vita Blue right after this.
Giants Baseball is brought to you by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Toyota. More people say yes to Toyota than any other brand in California. Learn why at your Toyota dealer today.
All right, back here in St. Louis, a beautiful sight of downtown St. Louis as we get ready for the Giants and the Cardinals. Well, all month long we've been highlighting the Giants Wall of Fame and some of those players up on that Wall of Fame. And tonight we're going to talk about one of our former teammates, Vita Blue.
Vita Blue Jr. was born on July 28, 1949 in Mansfield, Louisiana, and was acquired from the Oakland Athletics for a Major League record 7 players in 1978. In his first year with the Giants, Vita tallied 18 wins with a 2.79 ERA and 171 strikeouts in 258 innings pitched. His great year was rewarded as he won the Sporting News National League Pitcher of the Year and came in 3rd for the NL Cy Young Award. Unlike many southpaws, Blue was a power pitcher that worked quickly and pounded the strike zone. He possessed a curveball, an above-average changeup, but his signature pitch was a blistering fastball that dialed up to nearly 100 miles per hour. Pete Rose once stated that Blue threw as hard as anyone he had ever faced. In his 6 years with the Giants, Vita won 72 games and was an All-Star 3 times, earning him a spot on the Wall of Fame.
One of our all-time favorites, Vita Blue. It's good to see him from time to time at AT&T Park. All right, we've got baseball coming up, but stay tuned for an update from the Comcast Sportsnet studios in beautiful San Francisco right after this. Very nice night here in St. Louis as Giants and Cardinals are getting ready for Game 2 in this 3-game series. Our game time weather is brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. 85 degrees here at the yard. Winds are calm. Humidity 75%. And although it's partly cloudy, I don't see many cloudy in the sky. All good stuff here for Game 2. The Cardinals have taken the field. Let's take a look at the Giants lineup, and it's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It'll be Torres and then Buster Posey. Last 6 games, not only check out the average, but look at the doubles. Followed by Aubrey Huff and then Burrow. Guillen will hit 5th. Sandoval, Fontenot, Sanchez, and pitching and batting 9th is Tim Lincecum.
Let's take a look at the St. Louis Cardinals on defense tonight. It'll be Holiday, Jay, and Wynn. That's right, Randy Wynn. He'll be out in the outfield. Ryan and Feliz will be on the left side of the infield. That's right, Feliz, another old Giant. Schumacher, Pujols on the right side. Yadier Molina, he'll be in the squad, putting down the fingers, doing the catching. On the bump tonight for the Cardinals will be the veteran Chris Carpenter. Carpenter, 35-year-old, 6'6", 230-pound right-hander. Is one of the more quality arms in this league. 27th start, 2.95 ERA through 177 innings. He can deal. And what you're going to see from him is a real true knowledge of the fastball. He'll 2 and 4 the fastball. He'll go 92, 96 depending on the grip. Throw a cutter, a changeup. He'll use a lot of front door sinkers on left-handers. Very, very savvy to the movement of his fastball. Against these Giants lifetime, 3-1. And right now we're going to take a look at our Toyota keys to the game. And like a lot of great pitchers, you got to get them early. And that's very true with Carpenter. You want to get him early, and then when you get on him, pile on. That's key number 2. Against this offense, you cannot sit back fat, dumb, and happy and think a 3-run lead in the first inning is going to last. You got to keep piling on. And 3, Lincecum, find and hold the rhythm. He found it last start against the Padres, but it only lasted an inning. He needs to get that rhythm, and he needs to hold it. 5-0 lifetime against these Cardinals, so I like his chances.
First pitch of the ball game to Andres Torres is hit high into center field. John Jay is drifting back, and on one pitch, Torres is retired. So we get started at 6:15. Here's Buster Posey. Buster Posey last night 2 for 5. This is the first time he will face Chris Carpenter ever. 342, 9 home runs, 46 driven in. Swing and a miss. And it's now 0-2. Aubrey Huff to follow. And a breaking ball misses to make it 1-2. Carpenter's last start was a loss against the Cubs. Allowed 3 runs in 6 innings of work. And Posey out swinging. 2 outs here in the first. And here's Aubrey Huff. There's that loss to the Cubs on August 14th. He is usually consistently right around 7 or 8 innings every time out. First pitch to Huff is outside, hitting .295, hit a home run last night. 21 home runs, 70 driven in. He doesn't have great numbers against Carpenter, but he does have a home run off of Carpenter. He's 2 for 13 lifetime, and one of those 2 hits a home run. .3-0 to Aubrey Huff. Pat Burrell is on deck. Giants lost the first 2 games of this trip, and then won the last 2. And a 4-pitch walk to the Giants first baseman, and here's Burrell. Well, Burrell has real interesting numbers against Carpenter. I mean, anybody that can hang their hat on 4 home runs off of Carpenter has got to be pretty impressed with himself. Burrell is 5 for 18 with 4 big flies. And the first pitch is at the knees for a strike, and it's 0-1. Last night Burrell went 0 for 3 with a couple of walks. So the one thing he'll do is he may not get a hit, but at least he'll be on base once or twice in some other way. in tight to even the count at a ball and a strike.
That's big time movement on that sink from Carpenter. I mean, he really is one of those guys that understands the beauty of being able to four-seam and two-seam a fastball, because he gets two really pronounced different types of movements, and really they're just like two different pitches in the eye of the hitter.
Fouled at the plate, and it's now 1-2. Jose Guillen on deck. Just underway here in St. Louis. Another sellout crowd in a sea of red. Tired of red. And we haven't seen the end of red yet for a while.
And more red coming in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday when the Giants get back to San Francisco. Carpenter not happy with that last pitch.
See, who breaks the string of red? Is it Arizona?
Well, I mean, Arizona's
Okay.
they got red.
Killing me.
So I think it's the Padres, or no, it would be the Rockies.
Yeah, purple. Pitch to Burrell. Burrell hits a high fly ball into shallow left field for Holiday, and that'll end the inning. No run, a walk, one left. Lincecum coming out. 0-0. Back here at Busch Stadium, where the Giants come up empty. Now it's time for the Cardinals, and here's Tony La Russa's lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It'll be Schumacher, the former Giant Randy Winn, and then Albert Pujols. His 32 home runs. He hit one last night. Leads the National League. Matt Holliday, then John Jay, followed by Yadier Molina, Feliz, Brendan Ryan, Chris Carpenter.
The Giants defensively tonight, you'll have Burrell, Torres, and Guillen. That's your outfield. Fontenot and Sandoval on the left side of the infield. Sanchez and Huff will be on the right side. Buster Posey will be in the squat putting down the signs, and on the bump tonight for the Giants will be Tim Lincecum. Be number 26 in the start column for Lincecum. An excellent year, 11-7, 3.62. I mean, all the numbers are good. However, he has lost his last three, and in those last three, his ERA was 9, and those are our starting pitcher stats. Are brought to you by your Bay Area Hyundai dealers.
And Schumacher just hit a bolt foul into the seats, and that's when you hope everybody was paying attention on the very first pitch.
Heads up.
Schumacher hitting .265. Takes the next pitch down low. Schumacher, and then Randy Winn, and then Albert Pujols. Schumacher on the ground to Freddie Sanchez. 1 out. And that'll bring up Randy Winn. Well, maybe it's hard to find someone that watched as many pitches thrown by Lincecum as a former teammate than Randy Winn.
Well, he took his at bat last night against Brian Wilson, and he definitely had a plan, and he executed it. He had a good at bat, hit a really hard hit ground ball off of Wilson to the shortstop. So you know he's thinking about it. 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's the best fastball we've seen from Lincecum in a while.
And at third is Sandoval.
What they worked on between starts this time was getting him a little more upright as he starts his stride step towards home. Before, there was a little lean where his torso was leaning towards the first base side, and in doing so he sort of cut some of his power off. As he would rotate his hips through, his upper body would be cocked to the left, and he would be sort of off balance. So they got him in a more upright position with his upper body as he strides steps towards home.
And Randy Winn fouls that 87-mile-per-hour pitch right over the on-deck circle.
Very balanced at this point here, and now he starts the stride step. If you look at his chest now is a little bit higher, a little more upright as he starts to drive his chest and therefore drive his arm through the throwing target. Another 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, he hasn't broke out the changeup yet.
And one thing that he knows is when he has a good fastball, and at times, you know, we'd see him ride that pitch, and he'd ride it a while before he'd break out the changeup.
Especially the first time through the lineup. Fontenot's going to get some work. 2 outs. And here's Albert Pujols. Last night, Madison Bumgarner retired Pujols in his first 3 at-bats, not his 4th at-bat.
And that was not a hanger either. I mean, that thing was out over the outside corner. Just gives you an idea of how locked in he is right now. And this is going to be a very interesting test because of how locked in Albert Pujols is. You make mistakes to him location-wise right now, it's almost unforgiving.
A 94-mile-an-hour call strike to Pujols. Slowly hit. Sandoval on the run, got him, side retired, and a nice inning for Tim Lincecum. After 1, 0-0. Well, here's your chance to be part of what potential could be some postseason play at AT&T Park. It's the On Deck Plan. 2011 season ticket plan now available. Reserve your tickets for next year. Call 415-972-2298 to reserve your seats today. 0-0 is Guillen stands in. Guillen takes low. Guillen, like Aubrey Huff, has a home run off of Carpenter, but not many hits. 3 balls and no strikes. Guillen 2 for 12 with a big fly. In a Giants uniform, 8 for 20. Now it's 3-1.
Taken all the way.
Sandoval and then Fontenot. Hit into center field. Out to John Jay. 1 out. Carpenter's working very fast.
Well, I mean, when you don't have anybody on base, ideally you want to work quick out of the windup.
Last night, Sandoval parked one into near the bullpen anyway.
Well, an impressive swing of the bat. That was a 3-2 changeup, and it was not a hanger by Westbrook. And that thing went out of here like a 1-iron.
Sandoval 2 for 4 in his career against Carpenter, so not many at bats. Hitting .268 this year, 10 home runs, 49 RBIs. Fouls this one back and a mighty rip, and it's a ball and a strike.
He definitely throwing the bat head. Mike Shannon, the longtime announcer for the St. Louis Cardinals, been behind the microphone since 1972. Prior to that, he was a player here. One of the most beloved figures in St. Louis. Came over today to rave about the Panda.
Pedro Feliz in foul territory, 2 outs.
And he basically said, well, if you guys get tired of him out in San Francisco, we want him. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Well, Giants baseball is brought to you by Supercuts. Save money without looking like it. Woohoo!
Here's Fontenot. Makes me smile every time. Never gets old.
No, that does not ever get old.
Fontenot 5 for 16 with the Giants, 1 for 8 lifetime against Carpenter.
That curveball is not his friend right now.
Yeah, he is not what you would call throwing strikes.
And this is when you want to get after him. They can throw some pitches. When he doesn't have that curveball and he's showing you that he's not getting it over the plate, don't concern yourself. So you could look one speed. You could look fastball, slider. You don't have to concern yourself with the off-speed stuff.
Chris Carpenter is the new Gaylord Perry. Do not mess up behind him. Foul to make it 3-2.
Well, I think he can be a little grisly on the day that he pitches, but I don't think they're ever going to make another Gaylord Perry. What did he say to you in your first day in the big leagues when you trotted out there?
If you screw up, you'll never play again.
Well, that ought to relax you.
Yeah. Fontenot lines it to left. Holiday's coming in, but he's going to have to play it on a hop in the first hit for the Giants.
You would expect an old Cub to come in here against the Cardinals and perform well, and he has done that. Had a nice game last night. Here he opens up with an opposite field base hit, a 3-2 count. That was not a hanger. See hitter go the way of the location, you know he's pretty well locked. Nice hit.
Here's Freddie Sanchez. Sanchez, those years with the Pirates, faced Carpenter quite a bit. He's got 20 at bats against Carpenter with 6 hits. Jumps at that high fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. He likes that pitch. Good pitch at the knees. Sanchez might have thought it was low. It's now 1-2. Breaking ball, and Sanchez waited on it nicely.
Yeah, there was no buckle in that shoulder at all. Saw it well, waited well, and that was a nice curveball from Carpenter. That's the best one he's thrown this inning.
So he scores in the National League, or National League scores. That's right. Washington early lead on Philadelphia. The same can be said for Milwaukee over San Diego. Down low. Two and 2 to Sanchez. Lincecum on deck. Foul back. That series between the Cardinals and the Reds, where the Reds said some things, Cardinals went in there and swept them, and boy, they were the team that you just didn't want to play right now. Well, since that sweep, the Cardinals are 1-5. Soft line drive. Schumacher is there to end the inning. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We will head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. All right, no scores. We head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Time for Subway Eat Fresh, Ask Kruk and Kite. Visit csnbayarea.com. Cindy from San Francisco wants to know, how does the team get ahead or behind in the standings by a half a game? Well, first of all, one team has to have either played 1 more game or 1 fewer game than the other. But as an example, if the Padres were not playing today and the Giants won, then they would pick up a half a game. If the Giants lost, they would drop a half a game. Here's Holliday. First pitch down low.
Now you see the Cardinals trailing the Reds by 4.5 games, and if you add their games, they've played 119, and the Reds have played 122. So there's a 3-game difference. In that it is odd, it creates a half-game difference. But by the end of the season, it all evens out. Everybody plays 162. But because of the imbalanced schedule, everybody at various times during the season will have different total game totals.
Holliday comes up empty. He's picked up 10 hits and 32 at bats against Lincecum.
Well, just like his last start, I mean, against the Padres, he came out, had a real good first inning. Here tonight, had a very good first inning. But if you look at the break on the breaking ball, it's very sharp. And I think that's the best way to judge your motion, is what type of movement that you have on your pitch, what type of command that you have with your pitch. And I think that's more important than velocity, but the three usually run hand in hand. Oh man, that's a great pitch right there. You can see he got a little tight-lipped because he knew he made a good pitch. Ed Hickox, plate umpire. Watch the motion, and you can see he's always been a guy that falls off towards the first base side. That's not the important thing. If he takes his upper body and has it a little more upright and not having his chest lean at a 45-degree angle, that's kind of where he had gotten to, and that's where they think most of his problems were. He was cutting off a lot of his power because he was opening up, and he was in just sort of a difficult tilt.
Buster Posey will watch this one drift into the seats. It remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. John Jay is on deck, and then Yadier Molina. Bottom of the 2nd inning. Out of play.
Had a good breaking ball, 3-2. This is exactly the type of pitch performance that they've been hoping for, a consistency with it, where he has command of the fastball and not just hope to try and throw it in the strike zone. He can go inside and outside, up and down with it. He wants the changeup.
And he walked him.
Well, Bloomberg Sports, the leader in data analysis, has developed an analytical product being used by baseball clubs. There's also a product for fans. Improve your fantasy player, track your favorite players and teams. All you have to do is go to BloombergSports.com for details.
Here's John Jay. Very nice average for a young player. 3 home runs, 17 driven in. 2 for 4 yesterday.
And when you're struggling with your rhythm, the next test is what type of rhythm you have out of your stretch.
Runner goes. Posey's throw offline, and Holiday with his 8th steal of the year.
Now, when the Cardinals get a chance, they are going to run on Lincecum. I think that is a weakness that he has in his inability to hold runners on, and they are going to definitely try and exploit that. A more accurate throw, they would have had him. Quick meeting of the mound, usually confirming what the signs are with men on second base. And with Lincecum, it's usually pretty simple. It's usually first sign, last sign, or second sign, or first sign after a 2.
0-1 to John Jay. Once this one. Sandoval's only play. Better hurry. And they got him by a step.
Now, the one criticism about the Cardinals this year is that they haven't been able to play small ball. This is good small ball, and you can see Jay can really put pressure on just a bunt play, and that wasn't even a great bunt play. It was bunted too hard, and he still gets down that line to put heat on an infielder.
Well, Holiday now at third, so this presents itself to Lincecum as a strikeout situation. He consistently has led the league in strikeouts, but not anymore. It's Roy Halladay who leads the league, followed by Lincecum and then Adam Wainwright. Giants play the infield in. Foul ball out of play, and Lincecum jumps out in front. 0-1.
The other thing too, and you watch Lincecum right now, watch how many pitches that he throws winds up between the knees of Buster Posey. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the glove, just between the catcher's knees. That's your target. Last 3 games that he's had, when he went 0-3 with an ERA at 9, he just has been all over the place. He's been a nightmare to catch.
Oh, and 2. So he's going at him with fastballs to get out in front.
Now, that was a 94 cut fastball. And it was definitely between the knees. Still, I don't think he's at a point right now tonight that he can rely on that changeup. Tried to throw it 3-2 to Holiday, and it really didn't do much for him. I think his best specialty pitch right now is his breaking ball.
Again, a fastball fouled out of play.
Late. And when a guy's late in an 0-2 fastball, it's usually that he's got something else on his mind. And if you've tracked Lincecum the last year and a half, I mean, you know that in 2-strike situations he likes to throw that split.
And Molina just got a piece of that off-speed pitch to stay alive. It remains 0-2.
Good quick breaking ball. And again, between the knees with it. I mean, this is a good pitch. When he was mechanically a mess, that was pitch that would roll on him. It didn't have sharp break. It didn't have 2-plane break. And a lot of times it would back up, meaning it wouldn't break at all. And there's the split. But he missed below the strike zone, and the way he threw that one, he might want to throw it again. I think that one felt pretty good to him.
So a good battle right now between Lincecum and Molina.
He will chase a fastball across the letters.
Posey sitting up in. And that's where he put it. It's 2-2.
That's another good sign. I mean, you know, how many times have we seen the last several starts where they set up an inside corner and the fastball would go on the other side of the plate and vice versa? So the big concern that they have with Lincecum about whether or not he could find a rhythm and then maintain it, I think he's found it. And I think he is maintaining it. Wants a changeup.
Sandoval is coming home, and Posey tags him out. Nice play. 5-2 on the putout.
Holiday with 1 out going on contact, and the Panda, nice throw, perfect strike to Posey, who had plenty of time to get himself braced and put the tag on. And I think Posey, had he gotten the ball in his hand earlier, he may have had a chance to get Molina at first base.
Here's Pedro Feliz. Feliz hitting .225. 4 home runs, 31 RBIs. Last night, his first 2 hits in a Cardinal uniform. Foul past Jose Oquendo.
Again, another fastball right between the knees. Right there at the glove, knee high. I mean, that's a good pitch. Major improvement for Lincecum.
Foul.
Tell you the other thing too. I mean, one of the biggest strengths of Lincecum has always been his ability to compete. And when you're messed up mechanically, I mean, you don't compete. You're thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your mechanics. Well, tonight he's not thinking about the mechanics anymore. He's thinking about the guy in the box. He's competing, and you can feel it. He felt it in that at bat with Molina.
0-2. In tight to Pedro Feliz. Feliz took that number 77 with him from the Houston Astros. Molina with hardly any lead at all. And Lincecum throws, and Feliz takes high. Cardinals have made Lincecum work. That's 33 pitches now. That'll do it. Looked like a delayed steal from Molina as Lincecum strikes out Feliz, and it remains 0-0. Well, the Cincinnati Reds will be in town on Monday. That'll be game 1 of a 3-game series. All 3 games are part of the KNBR 680 special view level ticket offer. And it's $6.80 to purchase tickets. Visit sfgiants.com. Use the coupon code KNBR. So take advantage of it. 2 night games and a day game. And we understand there are pretty good tickets available. But the 680 special, good seats.
I like that 680. KNBR, the sports leader. A little shoe repair for Chris Carpenter. Boy, it's exciting watching Lincecum come out of this and lock into a nice rhythm. So all the hard work and all the fret hopefully may be over.
Lincecum 5 for 53 on the season, which are low numbers for him. Right now he's doing the Rick Russell.
Well, I think he's up there looking for a fastball and hadn't seen one good enough to hit yet. Yeah, still haven't seen one good enough to hit. All right, here's a Pacific Specialty Insurance poll question. You can log on to csnbayarea.com to vote. To view the poll results, watch Giants postgame live.
Torres saw one pitch in the first inning and hit a fly ball to center field. He went 1 for 5 last night with 3 strikeouts. He was on his way to having one of those games you'd like to forget about, and then he got a base hit late.
Chris Carpenter could not believe that that last pitch was not called a strike. Ed Hickox right now he got a little weirdness to his strike zone.
On the ground to Ryan, and Ryan will throw out Torres for Buster Posey.
Not too many times you see a shortstop in straightaway shortstop position go to a knee.
Yeah, well, when you got a pitcher that's going to rag on you if you miss it, you go down to a knee.
I knew you were going to say that, partner. You're a funny guy.
Posey struck out in the first inning.
The new Gaylord.
Talked about Ed Hickox behind the dish. Colbreth, Everett, and Cedarstrom from first to third. Posey lines this one into right field, a base hit.
And there's a lot of hitters around the country watching that at bat and watching that swing, just shaking their head, because you know that that's exactly what is taught. That's how you're supposed to do it. Take a fastball, stay inside it. You use the middle of the field. That's just a beautiful swing. It's great when Will Clark saw Buster Posey for the first time. He saw him take 3 swings. He looked at me and says, that guy's legit.
Aubrey Huff bounces that fastball foul.
I said, 3 swings, what took you so long? And he says, I just want to see if he could repeat it.
Yeah, I would trust Will Clark's instincts, by the way. There's a good curveball.
Well, and the living monuments, they said the same thing. Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, Orlando Cepeda, they all signed off on this kid. And I mean, they didn't have to take a look at him very long before they said,
Last night, Aubrey Huff hit his 21st home run.
It's really one of the best at bats of the night in that it was a 3-2 pitch, and he had a fight to get to that count. I think he went 0-2 to 3-2, fought off some fuzz, got a pitch to hit, and did this. He had 5 really good at bats last night. A couple of walks, a couple knocks, and even the out was a seed.
In tight.
And he had been in a bit of a funk, and you know, he says usually when I'm taking walks it's a good sign, and tonight his first at bat against Carpenter he took a walk.
Plus he had some life in the clubhouse today. I'll make it Pujols right there to end the inning on a one-hopper. It'll be Brendan Ryan to lead things off. Sportsnet Central after Giants postgame live, hosted by Henry Wolford and Jim Kozumor. It'll be a recap of this game. Check out what's going on in the National League West and the wild card. And the 49ers are going to take on Brett Favre tomorrow night. It'll be Brendan Ryan, Chris Carpenter, and Skip Schumacher facing Tim Lincecum. He's allowed a base runner on a walk. Ryan offers at the first pitch and fouls it out of play. Ryan last night went 1 for 3. Giants outfield pretty much straight away. Even with the bag at third is Pablo Sandoval. Ryan takes a bit high. 2 balls and a strike.
Now he'll analyze that last pitch he left high with the breaking ball and try and make a correction. Got a little too quick with his upper body.
Sandoval has it. Sandoval flips on to Huff. 1 out.
You know, that's the thing about when you're out there pitching, you know, you analyze every pitch that you throw. You make adjustments off every pitch that you throw. Every pitch, you know what it feels like to make a good pitch, a perfect pitch. You're trying to find that groove, and every pitch that you throw, you know, you make adjustments to try and get back, or you make the adjustments to try and maintain.
Here's Carpenter, this year 6 for 52. But big enough that if he were to get into one, he could hurt you.
Well, I think he tries to do that too, especially in situations like this where there's nobody on base. I mean, when you're 6'6" and weigh 240, I mean, you're supposed to swing for the downtowns.
Yeah, you're certainly not supposed to do that.
Ball's not carrying it right.
Here's Schumacher.
The other thing too, I mean, that was pitch number 40 for Lincecum. I mean, usually the last 3 starts and really beyond that, I mean, it was like he'd come out of the first inning, he was at the 30 pitch level, and he was throwing way too many pitches, couldn't command it, couldn't control it. That hasn't been the case tonight.
Schumacher bounced out to Freddie Sanchez in the first inning, and Lincecum pours in a strike. Lincecum had some velocity at 94 consistently in the first couple of innings, but has dropped down a little bit. That last one was at 91. And you know, in all honesty, it's true that sometimes all of us get too wrapped up into the radar gun. Foul back.
3 straight fastballs. Well, I mean, it's easy to. I mean, that's the glamour of being a pitcher, is if you could put a high 90s velocity on a pitch, but it's more important to have command, and it's more important to have movement than it is to have velocity. And if you don't believe me, ask Jamie Moyer. He hadn't had velocity in 15 years.
Freddie Sanchez. Side retired. Dave Fleming will be in. I'll head over to the KNBR side. Here it's 0-0.
Welcome back to Busch Stadium here in St. Louis. No score as we head to the top of the 4th inning. Joining us now, Dave Fleming. Well, what do you think? Lincecum looks pretty good, huh?
He looks good, and it's sort of the matchup we would expect, right? Top two guys from the Cy Young voting from last year, and they're both pitching well. So to form here tonight, which I think is a real good thing when you're talking about Lincecum lately. And he looks like he's pretty pleased with the way he's throwing the ball right now.
Looks fantastic.
And maybe that's part of it too. A confident guy here today. Pat Burrell's going to get things started here in the 4th against Carpenter.
Well, and I don't think he's thinking about mechanics. I think he's competing, and that's where you want to be. I mean, to me, that's the final step out of a slump. Is where you're not, your mind is not on the bump out there on the mound. Your mind is in how you're going to get that guy in the box out.
Burrell drives one to left center field, but in the ballpark, one away.
All right, what do you say we ask our trivia question? It's brought to you by AT&T. Rethink Possible. Question tonight: can you name the player with the most career home runs who attended the University of Miami?
There have been lots of good ones to come out of that Hurricanes baseball program. Strike one to Jose Guillen.
You mean it's not Vinny Testaverde?
Yeah. More great football players, but a lot of great baseball players. There's a base hit for Guillen. Line drive single. Third hit for the Giants. And the first time they've gotten that hit without two already out in an inning.
Take a look at the swing of Guillen. Really like the way he tucks his shoulder and keeps his head still to the ball. And the thing about Guillen that has been so impressive is how free his hands are. I mean, he's really got quick hands to the ball.
Sandoval with a man on. Takes a breaking pitch for a ball. I feel bad in a way for Guillen because everybody's been talking about his speed, lack of speed. He's really not healthy. He will not be going anywhere from first base.
Good swing, good coverage on the outside part of the plate. Well, Guillen's had a bad quad, and I think it had really deteriorated to the point where he was hitting around the injury, and I think that explained a lot of why he had such a slow late June and early July. But when he showed up here on the doorstep of San Francisco, he said, you know what, I feel much better. And he certainly has showed it in the batter's box. I mean, he has had great at bat after great at bats since putting on the Giants uniform.
Yeah, I think that's your main point there. Is he may not be moving well with the legs, but right now it's not affecting his swing. He's got a really nice swing. Chatty with Albert Pujols at first base. Sandoval goes after that breaking ball and just a little bit too much slice on it.
Yeah, but he waited. There was a nice hesitation as he identified the pitch, and then he stayed inside it the other way. That's what made him so good. That's what enabled him to hit 330 last year. And that's what he has to do. If you watch this little pause as he identifies. There's the weight. The front foot got down, but the hand stayed back.
We saw some of that on the home run he hit last night. 2-2. That was a wicked pitch to strike him out.
Big time slider, back foot slider. And I mean, that's textbook. You get a 2-2 count. One shot to go out of the strike zone before you get to the 3-2. You think back foot slider. Executed perfectly. Good hard breaker from Carpenter. That really has been one of his best strikeout pitches, especially the lefties, for a long time.
2 outs. Here's Fontenot, who singled his first time up, having a nice series. Playing shortstop again tonight. No stranger to this rivalry, or at least this town, this ballpark. Longtime member of the Cubs. Softly hit ground ball, and that'll do it for the Giants. They get a hit, but they leave one. Lincecum back to work. No score.
What do you say we ask and answer our trivia question? It's brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. The question tonight: can you name the player with the most career home runs who attended the University of Miami? Our survey said Greg Vaughn, California native, 355 career home runs, and that is where he ranks in the Hurricane home run total. Pat Burrell second, Aubrey Huff third, followed by Charles Johnson, Mike Pagliarulo, and Ryan Braun. Oh, and FP Santangelo with 21.
Sorry, FP. Well, Burrell's got a chance to catch Greg Vaughn. So does Aubrey Huff. I figure Ryan Braun's got a real good chance to do it. Former Giant Randy Wynn against his old teammate Tim Lincecum to start off things here in the last of the fourth. After Wynn, it's going to be the big boys, Pujols and Holiday. Wynn's got a 1 for 19 going. Not expected to be an everyday player here, and he's played a good bit for Tony La Russa's club. Colby Rasmus is really banged up. We may not see him at all in this series. Part of the reason that Wynn is in there. So far so good for Tim Lincecum. 3 scoreless innings. Only 1 strikeout, but not much loud contact either. In fact, you might say none. Second time through the order this time, though. Wynn hits it deep to right field. And the former Giant takes Lincecum out. Not what you expect from Randy Wynn.
Well, he gets a breaking ball middle in. A little cut fastball maybe. And Randy Wynn at his 12th year at the big league level, putting a charge into it, and there goes the no-hitter. There goes the shutout, and the Giants now trail 1-0.
Not a cheap home run. Pujols takes a strike.
And he goes right back in the strike zone, which is what you have to do.
Cardinals fans got excited for a moment, but not close. 1 away.
Well, I think they have a tendency to be a bit overeager. I mean, they kind of react to a ball that's hit in the air as if it's going to be a home run when it's a pop up in the infield. So I mean, they drink a little milk, calm it down a little bit.
It may be part of the psychology here. If we cheer, maybe we can help it get out. They want to support their guys.
We tease these fans, but they are fantastic.
It is an unbelievable baseball town.
And we see a lot of Giants fans here. Really have seen probably over 100 Giants fans. And they all say the same things wherever they sit in this ballpark. The fans here, they're buying them beers, they're talking ball, they're having fun with them.
Lincecum gets Holiday to chase, strike 1.
You do not have to be afraid to wear your colors here in this city. That guy's got them on. Now, I wouldn't have that same outfit on and go sit in the bleachers in Los Angeles.
No. Not the same vibe at Dodger Stadium. Strike 2 to Holiday. A trip worth making. Come here to St. Louis and watch the Giants and the Cardinals. Holiday to right field. Guillen on the move. And that one is just foul. Guillen could not quite get there.
And you know, normally if his legs are right, he catches that thing. It's a can of corn. But he doesn't have a lot of range, and you're going to see it on balls like that. You're going to see it on balls that get into gaps. You're going to see it on the base pass. He just doesn't have the speed right now.
You hope Lincecum can work through that, because Holiday, with a different guy out there, likely would be out right now. Instead, he gets to see another pitch. And it's the quad thing. It's the blood clot thing that has lingered with Guillen. Fastball. And a pretty good cut for Holiday. Giants know this guy real well from his many years in Colorado. He's going to be here for a long time now. 1-2. Trying to get Holiday to chase, but that one was so wild. Holiday not tempted at all.
Man, you see the reaction from Lincecum. Not happy with that effort. You get a guy 1-2. I mean, you want to really throw a nice teaser, something that really entices him to swing. That last pitch, a very easy take. But I mean, you know, he's coming out of a mechanical funk. I mean, he's going to have moments like that where he reverts back. But you always watch as to what he does on the next pitch. Can he get back into that quality arm slot?
His 2-2. A better one. Holiday pops this one up, and that will be playable. Huff for out number 2. So that's a good sign.
It absolutely is. I mean, he's passed every test. He's been able to bring a good rhythm into a game. He's been able to sustain it. He's been able to sustain it out of the windup. He's been able to sustain it out of the stretch. He's been able to, for the most part, control his pitches. If you look at the number of times he's been between the knees and around the glove of Posey, it's, you know, I'd say it's probably 90%. And that's a dramatic improvement.
Rookie John Jay leading all National League rookies with that .353 batting average. He's thrown 58 pitches. Lincecum has 41 of them strikes. That's a strike and hit well. Andres Torres with all his speed on display. Nice catch by Andres. The home run, though, by Randy Winn puts the Cardinals ahead 1-0. The 2011 On Deck season plan is now available. You can reserve your tickets for next season. Also guarantee seats for potential playoff games this October. We've got operators standing by right now. Give them a call, 415-972-2298, to reserve your seats today. 5th inning, Cardinals have a lead. Freddie Sanchez, a little swinging bunt there. Yadier Molina, for him, that's routine. 1 down. Sanchez 0 for 2. Chris Carpenter's pitching well.
Yeah, they both are. It's a good game. Good pitching matchup.
If you figured that this game would be in the 5th inning and be 1-0 on a Cardinals solo home run, that wouldn't be all that shocking. But the fact that it's Randy Winn, not Pujols or Holiday, that's a little surprising. Winn took Lincecum deep. Oh, 1 pitch. He swings away to his former teammate. 2 down.
Giants Baseball is brought to you by Round Table Pizza, celebrating summer with their delicious barbecue chicken pizza, premium grilled chicken, smoky bacon, and a tangy barbecue drizzle. It's barbecue taste at a special summer price. All you have to do is call Round Table today.
Giants leadoff hitter Andres Torres taking a little extra time to get to home plate after Lincecum makes the 2nd out here in the 5th. Andres is 0 for 2. Pretty good looking fastball for a ball. Working on his swing. Not really.
Well, so far St. Louis has been a good thing for Giants pitching.
Well,
see the Nationals extending their lead to 5-0 over the Phils. Milwaukee up 3-0 over the Padres. The Brewers are playing the Padres tough.
Yep, against Kevin Correa in San Diego. Steven Strasburg's got that 5-0 lead in Philadelphia. He was throwing 99 when I saw in the 1st inning, which is not surprising. He's given up 1 hit so far. Steven Strasburg. Carpenter sort of shaking his head after that last pitch, trying to make this a quick 5th inning. If that score holds up in Philadelphia and the Giants were to find a way to win this game, they'd be tied with the Phillies atop those wild card standings again. Strike 2. Torres thought that might have been ball 4. Three-two pitch. That is ball 4.
I was talking about how St. Louis has been good to Giants pitching. I mean, think back. Lincecum tonight has found his rhythm. You can see the 3-2 fastball just a little bit low and in. But think back last night, it was Madison Bumgarner that said, you know what, I got my fastball. And he found it last night. And we saw him at 94, 95. He threw the ball very well last night.
It was impressive. Everybody was impressed, especially Cardinals people. This could be an interesting sequence here. You got Posey at the plate. You have Torres, the runner, at first, but you also have Yadier Molina behind home plate. It's a spot with 2 down where Torres would get a real advantage for the Giants if he could steal second base. Tough to do against Molina.
Well, the Cardinals are defending against it. They moved their outfielders back to try and prevent the ball from getting through the gap. It's a doubles defense trying to hold Torres at third if indeed Posey finds a gap.
Torres started and stopped as Posey took that swing. Andres a little false start over at first base.
And one of the more difficult guys to steal on in the league is Yadier Molina. I mean, he's a catcher with a release time consistently under 2 seconds, right around 1.9, 1.95. And that's very fast.
Probably got the strongest throwing arm in the game right now.
Got a good one.
Torres not going. Ball 2 to Posey.
Yeah, that's the other thing too about Chris Carpenter. I mean, he really gives Molina a chance to throw guys out. His unload time 1.17 on that last pitch to the plate. And for a guy 6'6", 230, I mean, that's impressive to be that quick out of the stretch.
It probably tells you he's had to work on that pretty hard to get to be that quick. Another false start by Andres Torres. Another good take by Posey.
Carpenter, this year there have been 9 attempts against him, and there have only been 2 successful attempts, and that tells you all you need to know. And he's consistently right around 1.15 seconds. Normal in the game, average in the game is 1.25.
I would bet that Torres is going here though with the count 3-1. Nope. Ground ball to short. Nice pickup by Brendan Ryan. Giants are retired. A 2-out walk does not turn into anything. Middle of the 5th, 1-0 St. Louis.
1-0 Cardinals. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Time now for our Ford right choice. We take a look at last night when Madison Bumgarner went 8 strong innings, took a shutout into the 9th, allowing just 2 hits against these Cardinals. And he was fantastic. He had everything going. A fastball that at times hit 95. He said it was the best fastball he's had all year. He said, in fact, that he found his fastball, but he had a curveball, he had a changeup, he was cutting the ball, he was doing anything he wanted. He is our Ford right choice.
Attack mode for Madison Bumgarner.
And there's his line. 9 hits allowed, 2 earnings, 1 walk, 5 punch-outs, 97 pitches through 7 plus.
He could have gone longer in the game, and I think the Giants are looking for spots here down the stretch to give him a break, trying to save some innings, save some pitches. They had a lead. We're comfortable they could protect that lead. They did.
Nice 1-0 breaking ball there. Well, I agree with you. I mean, there's just no reason to do it. That's when you can save a guy. And I think when you've thrown close to 100 pitches, especially on a hot night, you have a tendency to kind of reach back and dig deep to find a little extra and avoid that. That's strength you can save.
2 years from now, it could well be that Bumgarner would have finished last night's game or at least pitched another inning. This season, no reason to overtax a kid who just turned 21. Meanwhile, Lincecum against Molina here, bottom of the 5th. Not a bad pitch there. Molina had a good take. The youngest of the Molina catching brothers. Ball 4. Leadoff walk to the catcher. Getting toward the bottom part of the order, so Lincecum may well pitch around that, but I'm sure that's not what he was looking to do to start this 5th inning.
Well, you do have to pay attention to Molina. I mean, he's got 7 steals.
For a guy who does not have much speed at all, he really picks his spots. Ground ball fair by Sandoval down the line. Molina kind of lumbering to third, and it gets by Burrell in the corner. Molina's going to score, and Feliz will be all the way to third base. 2-0 Cardinals.
Now, the outfielders are talking about one of the most difficult corners in all of baseball is here at Busch Stadium. The ball can really get down there and skee ball on you. And it's the ex-Giants tonight that have really been hard on Lincecum. Randy Wynn with a home run here. Pedro Feliz a double. Watch the skee ball get by. And it cost Lincecum a run. And it's going to be ruled a triple.
I can see why the official scorer might call it that. Just saying maybe Burrell could not predict the bounce, but it was not well played, and it gave Yadier Molina home plate. Now a first pitch line drive base hit to left. That scores Feliz, and Ryan's going to test Burrell. It's not going to be close. Nothing Cardinals. The offense for St. Louis coming to life here.
And a first pitch breaking ball. It's the little get it in slider, and Ryan taking advantage of the strike. Got a good pitch to hit. Didn't hit it real hard, but still gets the job done. RBI, and he puts himself in scoring position. You know, in watching the pitches that Lincecum has thrown tonight, you know, there's one thing we haven't seen, and that's the changeup.
Yeah.
It's been all fastballs and all breaking balls. He's throwing probably 5 changeups.
And I haven't paid attention. We don't get the camera shot necessarily on every single pitch, but I've seen Posey asking for it several times when Lincecum has not wanted to throw it. Carpenter's going to try to bunt. Takes a strike. I don't know why Carpenter would be complaining.
You know, I don't know either. Every fastball that's been called a strike, it just seems like it's automatic Gumby shoulders. And you even see it from a pitcher in a bunt. It's driving me crazy. I mean, quit the whine. Get up there and hit.
I do not get it. He's still talking about it. He's not the most chipper individual, Chris Carpenter. Anyway. Nothing against him, but the guy who's standing at second base certainly would agree with me. Brendan Ryan got absolutely chewed out by Chris Carpenter in the middle of a game a week or so ago. 2 different times. Strike 2.
Gumby. That's 2 Gumbies in 1 at bat.
Are you kidding me? I believe was the gist of that.
I mean, serious. This is a bunt situation. You are killing the drill.
Now we'll see what he does. Popped it up. That's strike 3. And he's cursing at Ed Hickox as he leaves the plate.
Yeah, his fault. Well, it's a big strikeout for Lincecum in that it is not a productive out. That's the bottom line. So Carpenter retired. Ryan's still at second base.
And Lincecum's got to try to find a way to limit the damage here. The Cardinals already have expanded their lead. They have 2 runs in. But maybe that out can help. Schumacher's grounded out to second base twice.
70 pitches for Lincecum.
Wouldn't expect him to be running out of gas, getting fatigued.
No, he's about where he should be at this point in the game.
I don't think it's a bad idea to pay attention to Brendan Ryan here. He's not a big base stealer, but he has 8 steals on the year. Strike one to Schumacher. Padres got a couple of runs back in Milwaukee, so it's a 1-run lead for the Brewers now. We'll keep you posted on that one. Phillies got a run against Strasburg. Strike 2. Was that a changeup?
Well, it looked to me like it was a cutter.
Yeah.
But I mean, some nights you feel a pitch, sometimes you don't. But I just know that that split is a real good strikeout weapon for him.
0-2. Good block by Posey.
And I think that is, Dave. I think that is the split. Let's watch the 0-2 block by Buster Posey.
It's important to keep that guy at second base with 1 out. Schumacher to right field. Guillen's got the good arm. Ryan will just bluff the tag. 2 down.
Love watching that guy throw. And he loves to show it off too. But got a cannon like that, why not?
If you got it, flaunt it.
This time get a little momentum coming in. That's just big time extension. One of the best arms of the game. One of the best arms I've seen. Period.
Here's Randy Wynn.
This generation, any generation.
Last time up, Wynn got the first run across with a home run, just his 3rd of the year.
Well, he's going to give you a good at bat. I mean, that's, you know, Giants fans know that. This guy is a professional player, man. He does everything right. He does everything to try and help a club. And if he wants to be, he could be a manager in this game. But, you know, I think it's going to be hard for him when he leaves the game as a player to get back into the game as a coach or a manager, especially early, because here's the home run that he hit on a cut fastball back in the 4th inning. I think Randy Wynn will definitely prioritize and around his family, and he'll want to spend more time at home. But at some point, he could do whatever he wants to. He could be in the front office. The game needs guys like Randy Wynn. I mean, he's just that good of a person. Padres coming back.
It was 3-0. Now it's 3-3. I went over today to the Cardinals clubhouse to try to find Randy. Figured I better say hi, catch up. He was working in the cage. Couldn't see him. Not a shock. Hit that one hard, but pulled it foul. Cardinals have scored 2 runs here in the 5th, a leadoff walk, then a triple and a double back-to-back. The guy who hit that double, Brendan Ryan, is still out there at second base. Plenty of speed to score on a base hit to the outfield. Strike 3 called. There's that fastball at the knees. Lincecum at least limits the damage to just the 2, but the Cardinals lead is 3-0.
Coors Light sixth inning. Now it's time for Coors Light freeze cam. We go back to the third inning, and Brendan Ryan hitting a high one hopper, and the Panda going up and making a snag. And that's a Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Panda's not known for their leaping ability usually.
Well, unless they're trying to jump up and get some food.
Bamboo.
Yeah, they're pretty good at that.
Aubrey Huff, followed by Burrell and Guillen. Tall order for the Giants here, the way Carpenter's throwing the ball, now behind 3-0.
Well, it's where I think the leadoff hitter of an inning when you're down 3-0 becomes so important. Just to get that pitcher in a stretch quickly.
That's a good point. And that's not going to do it. The high chopper to Schumacher, one away. The Giants have not had the leadoff man reach in 6 innings yet tonight.
Here's the play that got by Burrell in the 2-run 4th inning. And when Burrell got back to the dugout, he walked over to Lincecum and said, "My bad, I'll pick you up." And players definitely try to do that in their next couple of at-bats. They try to do something to make up for it. But in all fairness to Burrell, I mean, it's not an easy play down there trying to play a carom in a field that you haven't really been that familiar with. But I know one thing, as the next pitcher, I definitely appreciated it when a player came in and said that.
Made you feel a little bit better?
Yeah, you know, I mean, not trying to make a mistake. Physical errors you have no problem with. I mean, that's part of the game. Mental errors, now that's a whole different deal. And this time of year when you're grinding, it's the dog days, and you're trying to contend and get to the playoffs. If somebody makes a mental mistake behind you where they don't cover a base or they throw to the wrong base, or I mean, there's 100 different ways you can make a mental mistake, especially on the base pass. You have a tendency to lose a little patience with that, especially if it's a young player. Well, I mean, that's how you learn as a young player. When you see the reaction of your veterans and you understand that there's zero tolerance for it. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to get to the manager to see what his reaction is.
Burrell down that left field line, headed for his corner and into the corner. Takes a more normal carom to Holiday. Pat Burrell with a double.
Yeah, that'll make him feel a little bit better. But how about that? You know, guys, I'll pick you up right here. I'm going to do something good. And here, one out double, puts himself in scoring position. A little slider down and in. Nice at bat.
Burrell doesn't have great speed himself, but he was thinking 2 bases all the way, as he should have been. Guillen's got a chance to knock him in, get the Giants a run. Guillen last time up singled. He's 1 for 2. And I think you said it last time he was up. I cannot think of an at bat he's had with the Giants where you just said, well, that was a throwaway or that was a terrible at bat.
Or even that he swung at a bad pitch.
Yeah, he really has not been doing that. He looks ready to help the Giants at the plate. And he drives one to left field here. Holiday toward the corner. 2 down.
Ooh, he just missed that one.
Yes, missed it.
Well, check out CSN Insiders, the best team in town, csnbayarea.com. That's where you go to see it. CSN Bay Insiders, columnist Ray Ratto, Michael Urban on baseball, Matt Steinmetz on basketball. They got a bunch of guys over there that are good. Matt Myoko on the NFL. That is the best sports team in town. You'll see it at csnbayarea.com.
Pablo Sandoval trying to knock in Pat Burrell with 2 down. Backdoor breaking ball from Carpenter.
Definitely a pitcher strike.
Carpenter somehow not going to complain that he got that call.
No Gumby shoulders there.
Nope. Sandoval's homered in back-to-back games. Ball 1. Pablo went 2 months without a home run. He's got 4 in the last less than 2 weeks. That is a good sign for the Giants. A hot night. They're making Carpenter work a little bit here in the 6th. Tries that pitch again. Strike 2.
Well, he keeps going to it. If Ed Hickox is going to keep calling it, I mean, Pablo Sandoval's going to have to go out there and try and cover it. It's a wraparound breaking ball. It's not going across the plate. And I think Molina's going to come out and say the same thing. Look, the guy keeps calling that pitch. He can't hit it. Keep throwing it. The bad part about it is that if you have to jump out there and try and be something soft, you are totally exposed to something hard inside. There you see the distribution of pitches. He's been very stingy. Just one time where he exceeded the limit. That was in number 2, 2nd inning.
Sandoval to center. That one was hit pretty well, but Jay tracks it down. Giants had good at bats in that inning, but they do not score.
Giants baseball is brought to you by Farmers Insurance. To find your local Farmers agent, call 800-FARMERS today. By Xfinity, the next generation in home entertainment. Now available in the Bay Area and coming soon to the Central Valley. And by Verizon Wireless, introducing the Droid X, the next generation of does.
Albert Pujols for the Cardinals against Tim Lincecum, MVP against Cy Young winner. Strike 1 call. 3-0 Cardinals leading. It's the last of the 6th. Get to be near twilight time at the new Busch Stadium. The later innings. Fastball low. Pujols is 0 for 2. He has not been a part of the Cardinals offense tonight, which is rare. Having another huge year. Leads the league in home runs. Runs batted in.
Let's check out our Bloomberg Sports graphic. How about Albert Pujols? How often does he hit a home run? How about once every 14 at bats? Consistency? Well, since he came into the league to now, pretty consistent. An amazing player.
I think there's so much value in that. There's value if you put up his numbers. It doesn't matter how you get there, but I think in particular when you're as steady as he is, just day after day. Another hard hit ball. Another Pujols hit.
And Lincecum right back in the stretch to start things off here in the 6th.
So 6 innings. Giants have had 0 of their leadoff hitters get on base. Cardinals have had 4.
Breaking ball just up a little bit out of the plate. And as so many of his balls will do, right back up the middle. So perfectly balanced as a hitter. Asked Lincecum, I said, you know, when you've been mechanically messed up, did you find yourself a little more sore the day after a start than you normally are? He goes, I never get sore. I mean, I'm a little more tired perhaps, but I never get sore. I mean, that's unusual. I mean, you usually you pitch 115 pitches in a game, and next day you wake up and you've got some hot spots in your shoulder, your elbow, your knee, your back. I mean, there's a couple of spots you're just sore, and you learn to recognize good soreness from bad soreness. And you find, you know, okay, that's good soreness. I'm good, and you can go back to the ballpark the next day after a start. You can work that out. That's usually your big cardio day, and you can lift weights and run and play a little toss, and then next day you wake up, it's gone. But bad soreness never leaves you. And he didn't get sore.
No soreness for Lincecum. Strike 1. Now it's Holiday's turn.
It just that one.
That is a strike.
But you know what? Even if it isn't a normal strike that you see, and you perhaps think that it is low, Ed Hickox has been steady with it all night.
Yep.
Deal with it. Just I don't understand all the Gumby shoulders and the bad body language. It's not cautioning at bat. It's the first strike of an at bat.
Stick to your guns, Ed.
But I think that's a reflection of the manager, totally, because he's the guy that allows that to happen. There's the skipper of the Cardinals. And as Mark DeRosa said, Tony La Russa will definitely get you prepared as a player. And you will not out-prepare him. And that's been his reputation.
Pujols is running. Posey's throw. Sanchez can't handle it. That'll give Albert Pujols third base.
Well, that's a big mistake. See the work from Buster Posey, and Freddie Sanchez, tried to make something out of nothing. Never really got to the ball, and he was trying to just swipe tag the ball into Pujols, thinking he had a chance to get him. So, an unfortunate mistake, and the error is going to be on Freddie Sanchez.
Pujols is at third and nobody out. The sluggers for the Cardinals have the steals. The guy at the plate right here, Matt Holliday, stole a base back in the second. Strike three.
Well, that's what you pitch for. I mean, at this point in time, you don't want to give up any more runs to Chris Carpenter. You got Holliday up there at a 2-strike count. You're pitching for the strikeout. And he throws a cut fastball and he swings right through it. See you later, strike three. 4th strikeout for Lincecum, and this one is one he desperately needed.
He needs another one right here. Infield's coming in for the Giants. John Jay is the hitter. Rookie with the gaudy batting average, hitting .351. Posey trying to see if he could catch Pujols a little too far away from third. Pujols came a couple extra steps down the line there. And he turned his back to the plate and was walking back.
That was close.
That was a smart play by Posey.
Jose Oquendo almost blew a vein in his forehead screaming. He's the third base coach. And just let it be known, you just can't take Buster Posey's arm lightly. There's Jose Oquendo. Not a fan favorite to the folks back in San Francisco.
No. With the infield in, a ground ball into center field. It's 4-0 Cardinals. Right over the bag at second. Ramon Ramirez is getting ready in the Giants bullpen.
Okay, we're going to come out and give Lincecum a bit of a breather, give Ramirez a chance to get greased up. Won't take Ramirez long tonight. There have been a lot of positive things that have happened tonight in the start, and right now, Righetti just come out there and just point them out, calm them down. One trick that Roger Craig used to do is that if he wanted you to pick up your pace, he would talk fast. And if he wanted to slow you down, he'd talk slow. And it worked.
Some subliminal messaging.
I mean, not only would he be telling you to slow things down, but he would slow his voice down. He wanted you to pick the pace up. You know, he could chew on you a little bit there. I mean, that's how he picked his pace up, but it was effective.
Yadier Molina, the hitter. John Jay, the man at first base. Ground ball, base hit right through the hole. Hits are starting to come for the Cardinals. Lincecum had not given any up through 3, only 1 through 4. And we'll see what Bochy decides to do. Could be coming out right now. He is. Lincecum's night ends in the 6th inning, with the Cardinals leading 4-0. Ramirez coming in when it's time for a change. Think speedy oil change and tune-up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Francisco Giants and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LP.
Cardinals have knocked Tim Lincecum out of the game. They lead 4-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and out of the Giants bullpen, the right-hander Ramon Ramirez, who's done a nice job in 8 appearances.
There you see the numbers. 53rd time he will take the ball and come out of the bullpen this year. And he is a guy that can do a number of things for you, and one of which is he can get you a ground ball, and that is exactly what he needs to try and minimize the damage here in the 6th. 36 strikeouts against 20 walks, 65 base runners in 50 innings. So those are good numbers.
His combined numbers with the Giants, 8 appearances, almost 8 innings, no runs. The former Giant Pedro Feliz has a triple in the game. Chases a bad one in the dirt.
Ramirez opening it up with a changeup right out of bed. There's Lincecum's line. He had not given up a hit until the 4th inning when he gave up a leadoff home run.
Two on, 1 out. 0-1. There's a ground ball. Giants aren't going to be able to turn 2, though. Fontenot makes a nice play to get 1.
That was a good play. You know, in regards to Lincecum, as you saw his line, I mean, he's not going to be happy with the scoreboard. I mean, he is definitely one of those guys that judges results by wins and losses. But, you know, he has to be happy with his ability to be able to maintain pretty good stuff all the way through the game. Now, one of the things he didn't have tonight, however, was a changeup. But his fastball command, the number of pitches he was able to put between the knees of Buster Posey, that to me was a dramatic improvement about over where he was the last several weeks. As he comes out of his funk and he's trying to find an answer to some of the mechanical problems.
Giants are going to walk the 8th place hitter, Brendan Ryan, intentionally here. And set things up with 2 down and the bases loaded for the pitcher, Chris Carpenter. So progress for Lincecum tonight. Improvement, not all the way back to the Lincecum that the Giants are hoping to see sooner rather than later, but some more progress.
Definitely progress. And I mean, you know, his teammates haven't scored many runs either.
Yep.
So every mistake that you make in a game where your team gets shut out gets magnified by 10. But I think that Dave Righetti has to feel that there's been real positive progress made in watching the performance of the pitches, the velocity of the fastball, but more than anything else, the ability to maintain his command. That's the biggest improvement.
When the Giants get back home this upcoming homestand, part of it, the Diamondbacks will be in town on Friday, August 27th. Irish Heritage Night, $20 special event ticket with the Irish Celebration pregame, food and drink specials, performances by Irish entertainers, and an all-around good time for Irish Heritage Night. Special tickets needed, though, to take advantage of that. Call 415-972-2298. Bases loaded for the pitcher, Carpenter. Strike 1 swinging. Giants trying to give themselves a chance in this game. The Cardinals could blow it wide open right here. But the Giants haven't scored for Lincecum. They also didn't play real clean defense behind him tonight. A couple little mistakes that helped the Cardinals offense. Softly hit to Fontenot. He's got plenty of time. Cardinals are gone, but they score an extra run. They knock Lincecum out of the game. Kipe coming back to TV. 4-0 Cardinals.
All right, here's our McDonald's game summary. No runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Giants. 4 runs on 6 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. Lincecum went 5 1/3, a couple of walks, 4 punchouts in 91 pitches. Giants 1 base runner on each inning, and they have not been able to put one across the plate. Carpenter has been good through 6. 90 pitches, 3 strikeouts, but the big blow was Randy Wynn, the first hit of the game in the 4th inning, a solo shot, and another ex-Giant, Pedro Feliz, with an RBI triple. And that is our McDonald's game summary. 4-0 Cardinals, top of the 7th. Here again, Dwayne Kuiper.
I hate those ex-Giants.
See, I never thought I'd hear you say that about Pedro Feliz and Randy Wynn.
Well, just kidding.
Two of your favorite.
Randy's mom, Beverly, hears me say that. I don't know. I'm going to have a hard time getting into Danville tomorrow.
That's true.
Fontenot, Sanchez, and then a pinch hitter.
That was not an easy take there. Sitting on an 0-2 count, laying off that curveball.
Carpenter about ready to throw pitch number 94.
4 pitches, 4 breaking balls.
Four nothing lead for St. Louis. And he gets Fontenot.
Well, join us tomorrow for Game 3 of this 3-game set, the final game of this this road trip. That's right. You can see it tomorrow, pregame live at 10:30, right here at Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Barry Zito taking on Jaime Garcia, and you'll be able to see that in HD.
Here's Freddie Sanchez. Sanchez is lined out, and he's hit a little dribbler out in front of home plate, only to be thrown out by Yadier Molina. Shallow right center field. It'll be John Jay putting it away. And with 2 outs, here's Nate Sherholz. Sherholz at bats are now coming only off the bench, and it's been difficult for Nate Sherholz. He's got good numbers pitch hitting wise. One for his last 11, 2 for his last 15.
Tell you, once Chris Carpenter discovered that Ed Hickok's plate umpire is going to give that wraparound curveball on the outside corner to lefties, he has been pummeling that. Again, he tried to get out there, but he's no fool. But I mean, he's got a great feel with that breaking ball. The fact that he can go inside outside with consistency lets you know what type of command he's got.
One and 2 on the 93-mile-an-hour fastball from Carpenter.
But I mean, it's especially a scenario where it puts a hitter at a disadvantage when you have to go out and cover what you think is a ball because the umpire's calling a strike, and you think you have to dive out there really lean. It exposes you inside.
Sherholz had a good look at that breaking ball. It's 2 and 2.
That last pitch, number 101 for Chris Carpenter.
It's almost as if the Cardinals had decided that Nate Sherholz was only going to see one fastball out of all these pitches. He gets one there, and this is bounced to Schumacher. That'll retire the side. Maybe Carpenter's best inning. 4-0 St. Louis.
I'm Henry Woodford. Hope you're enjoying the game. A lot more to go, but reminding you to join me and Jim Kozamore for Sportsnet Central coming up right after Giants post-game live. We'll have everything on your Giants game, plus the San Francisco 49ers are ready for Brett Favre and the gang, and the Oakland A's are back in the hunt. Sportsnet Central right after Giants post-game live. Back out to Kruk and Kite.
All right, thanks, Henry. Here it's 4-0 St. Louis with Jeremy Affeldt starting to get loose as he will be into the game.
There's the numbers for Affeldt. 39 times he's come in. This will be the second trip that he has made out of the bullpen since coming off the disabled list. His last outing in Philadelphia, he threw the ball well, retired the first two, then he ran into a little bit of a bump in the road. But he was pretty happy with how the ball was coming out of his hand. And he said, you know what, you get away from the game a little bit, you come back and you get in front of the crowd, it just gets you amped up. He was really, really happy to be back in the big leagues.
Facing Skip Schumacher. Breaking ball that Schumacher thought was going to hit him, but it broke away from Schumacher for a ball, 1-0. Breaks his bat. Buster Posey says, let me take care of this, and he does.
Boy, that was going to be a close play until he got his arm up in throwing position and threw a laser to first base. Nice play. It's a tough play for a catcher. You got to come out of the squat, ball's moving away from you, wave off your pitcher, 360, and throw a rifle shot. I like that.
They got to like to do that. That's a play they must enjoy.
Yeah, it's fun.
Here's Randy Winn. Foul back. No balls in one strike. A home run for Randy Winn in the fourth. He's 1 for 3.
Now that swing of the bat by Randy Winn in the fourth was the first hit off Lincecum. A little cut fastball that he yanked out of here for his third home run of the game. And we're going to make that our Dodge Ram drive of the game.
Foul, not by much. The heavy thunderstorm came through yesterday. It rained out batting practice, at least for the Giants. Today they had something going on the field. No batting practice as well, which means we have not had a chance to see Randy Winn, which means we have to go see him tomorrow.
Well, he tried to go with their day, but he was working in the cage. But you're right. You got to stop in. Definitely one of the guys you look forward to seeing when you come to St. Louis.
Oh, you kidding? He is a prize. If I was in charge of an organization, and when Randy Winn decided to hang it up, I'd call him and say, what do you want to do?
Yeah. And we talked about that in the last couple innings. It's
Yen puts it away to end the inning.
nice inning.
8th inning coming up. 4-0 Cardinals. Well, Saturday, August 28th, Giants D-backs, but more than that, first 20,000 fans will receive a Joe DiMaggio San Francisco Seals bobblehead presented by Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. SFGiants.com, that's where you go. And remember, with dynamic pricing, buy early and save. Strike to Andres Torres. It'll be Torres, Posey, and Huff facing Chris Carpenter, who's only allowed one Giants base runner to get to second base. This is pulled foul, and it's 1-2.
Well, he's been in command. Despite putting a runner on base every inning until last inning when he had his first 1-2-3 inning.
This pop-up is hanging around the home plate area, And Molina puts it away.
Cardinals had lost 5 games in a row coming into tonight's ball game. They gave the ball to Carpenter. And he has given them shutout baseball into the 8th inning so far.
Yeah, they're 1-5 since they swept the Reds.
That really surprises me. We were talking to Mike Shannon, the broadcaster for the Cardinals since 1972. Really one of the great baseball guys around the game. And we said, having watched that series, the famous fight series where the Cardinals and the Reds played, and they had that really nasty brawl. The Cardinals in Cincinnati went on to sweep the Reds. And you figured they would have a, here's Mike Shannon. You figured that they would have a big head of steam, and that hasn't happened. They went 1-5 since the fight. The Reds, on the other hand, have been perfect. They left Cincinnati going on a big road trip, of which the last 3 games are going to be against the Giants in San Francisco, and they've won 6 in a row.
There's a base hit to right field, and that's what Buster Posey can do. He can get out front, but have the strength to keep his hands back.
Well, that's a good point. And how many times have we seen him do this? Especially on good pitches. This is what drives pitchers crazy when guys do this. Yeah. But even though the lower body was gone, the hands were still free to do something. And that's exactly what happened. That may be it. For Carpenter. Maybe not. Trevor Miller
Tony's been known to wait until the last second to pull the trigger. So Carpenter's going to depart. And he'll receive a great ovation from these Cardinal fans. And it's time for a change. Think Speedy oil change and tune-up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. We'll be back. Cardinals 4, Giants nothing here in the 8th inning. Trevor Miller is the new pitcher, and as you can see, he's a lefty.
45th time he's come in, 28 innings, which makes him a loogie. A lefty one-out guy. Low 3/4. High 80s velocity with a curveball and a slider. And he can also put a little sink on it.
Aubrey Huff 0 for 2 with a walk. Giants just looking for base runners.
Well, they got to make noise right now. This is the time. They got the right people up. And this is the time where they need to make a noise.
Huff 1 for 11 against Miller. The one hit a home run.
So a first pitch, get it in, breaking ball for a strike 1. Then he missed 2 times below the zone with 2 fastballs. And this may be where he sits up on a breaking ball and just lays on it.
Lines this one into right center field. That's going to be a hit. Buster Posey will move on to third, and Aubrey Huff with his first hit.
They got a predictable little flat slider, a get it in slider, and indeed he was looking for it. And that's what he does so well. I mean, there's a little get it in breaking ball, kind of like you saw in the first pitch, and he's not going to miss it. Once he feels the confidence that somebody's going to go in that strike zone, he's going to put a good swing on it. And more often than not, he's going to hit it hard.
So Tony Russo is going to make a change. We're going to see a right-hander. When we come back, we'll let you know who that is. It's 4-0 Cardinals. It's 4-0 Cardinals. Giants making a little noise here in the 8th inning. Kyle McClellan is in the pitch. He'll be facing Pat Burrell.
Big time numbers. He's having a solid season. 55 base runners in 57 innings with almost a 4-to-1 strikeout walk ratio. And McClellan is a 4-pitch guy. I mean, he can give you a look with fastball, slider, changeup, and a curveball, and he can strike you out with all the low 90s fastball.
Burrell looked at a strike, came back and watched another one down low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ooh, foul back. He had a good rip. Posey a 1-out single. Huff follow that with a base hit. Got him.
Oh, man. And Burrell's got every right to beef on that one. Just a front door breaking ball that
It's not a strike.
ain't even close. You talk about making a call that has an adverse effect on a game. That would be this pitch right here. And I like the fact you got a real good chance to look at that pitch from that camera above the batter's eye out in center field. That's one that Burrell's not going to forget.
One and 0 to Guillen. 2-0 to Guillen.
And you can see he's sitting up on the inside corner. And the ball never really comes around the plate, and it almost hit Burrell.
Well, I know what pitch Ed Hickox couldn't hit in high school.
Well, I mean, he's called a lot of wraparound breaking balls all night long. I mean, that's something that's been pretty consistent with, but I think that one was a little bit inside. May have missed it by about a foot.
3-0. Fouled at the plate. It's 3-2. Huff will take off. 3-2. He's the runner at first. Big chopper. The long throw, not in time. A run comes in. It's 4-1 on the hit by Jose Guillen. And more so than that, it extends the inning and it brings the tying run to the plate.
Well, Brendan Ryan knew that he had a chance with Guillen, who does not run very well. And boy, for the Wild, you really held your breath as to whether or not Guillen was going to be able to outrun the ball.
Here's Sandoval.
And he is the tie and run.
Here's where you hope Sandoval continues the show of power over the last 8 games. And he had a rip, and it's 0-1. Sandoval popped out, struck out, and he's lined out. Huff at second, Guillen at first. This is not going to do it. And that'll end the inning. A run on 3 hits, 2 left, 4-1 Cardinals. Ball game, Sportsnet Central, or check that after Giants postgame live, hosted by Henry Wolford and Jim Kozamore. Recap of this game, check out what's going on in the National League West, and the 49ers taking on Brett Favre. Cardinals is Guillermo Mota is going to pitch here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Let's take a look at his numbers, but first I want to remind you
can check out, hey, it's coming up, Sportsnet Central.
Thank you. 50th appearance on the year for Mota. 1-3. 2-to-1 strikeout walk ratio. 47's of solid work, and he has been a solid presence in that Giants pen as well as in the clubhouse. It's great. Yesterday he was sitting there waiting for Tim Lincecum to come over. The two of them were going to play dominoes, and he was talking about Lincecum, and he's just a good teammate, and he's an old veteran that had good things to say to a young pitcher. Get him pumped up, keep it positive.
Plus, you better listen. He might pinch your head off. There's a strike to Holiday, although he's never acted like he might do that. Good sequence to Holiday.
He has been gumbied all night long, and now he's going to go at it a little bit here. You know, just every time it starts to get old. I mean, you don't need to do that. It says a lot about you as a player, I think.
Ryan Braun's going to get a Christmas card. Just hit a home run. 6-3 Brewers over the Padres. Holiday out of play.
Brian Franklin, the closer for the Cardinals, finishing off his warm-up pitches.
Holiday with a base hit. And here's John Jay. Jay knocked in a run off of Lincecum in the 6th inning. Take a look at John Jay's shoes. I don't know. What was the rule? We found out 60%?
And it's either 50% or 60% of the color of the uniform, meaning red.
I don't know. I think Wilson's got a beef. John Jay takes a strike. A lot of motion in John Jay before he gets ready to hit, but when he is ready to hit, it all stops.
Yeah, when that front foot goes down, his hands are in good position. But it is unusual to see a guy to have this much movement in his hands,
especially low movement. You see a lot of high movement.
And when you're pitching against a guy like that who does that, you pick it up. They're real easy to throw inside to because you got something to aim at.
But he's ready.
You're right. When that front foot drops, those hands got to be up and in position to throw. It's obviously working for him. He's having a good solid season.
Hit and run is on, and this is fouled out of play.
You see the numbers on the year: 355, 3 homers, 18 RBIs. 1 for 2 tonight. Good-looking young player. Former second-round pick, 2006, out of the University of Miami. 6'3" Milwaukee, 5'1" Washington.
Andres Torres has a beat on this one. Another loud out from John Jay. And here's Molina. Bruce Bochy said today on his KNBR pregame show that he will rest some guys tomorrow.
Well,
I didn't say who, but
I would
under
believe
the
it.
assumption that Posey's not going to catch.
Yeah. He might get a whole day off.
Molina takes a strike on the inside corner.
Molina has hit it to 16 double plays this year. That does not lead the Cardinals team. You know who does? Albert Pujols. Not surprising, as many balls as he hits back up the middle.
He just likes to lead in every stat.
That's right. Although I don't know if you could negotiate off that one.
Topped out in front of the plate, and Mota is going to go to first. Down to second goes Holiday. Here's Pete Feliz. A triple for Feliz. He did that off of Lincecum in the 5th inning. Although I suspect that you could have given Burrell an error trying to dig it out down the left field line. Holiday at second base. Both teams with 7 hits. What the Cardinals have done that the Giants haven't done is they have bunched their hits. The Giants have spread theirs out. Pitch at the knees.
Great location with that 2-0 slider. Mota, a 3-pitch guy, fastball, slider, and a split. Or a circle change, I should say.
Up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. Holiday is going to score. And it's back to a 4-run lead.
And Pedro Feliz with another 2-hit night. He said when he came over here from Houston that his numbers meant nothing. He was going to hit better, and he has backed it up through 2 games. Just a pretty disciplined at bat, going right back up the middle. 2 outs, cashing in that run. That's a big run.
Here's Ryan. Ryan doubled in the 5th. Pop-up is out of play. Five runs on 8 hits for the Cardinals, a run on 7 hits for the Giants. Pair of left-handers tomorrow, Zito and Garcia. Low.
Day game tomorrow here. It's going to be a warm one. And then afterwards, the Giants get to hop on a plane, come back to San Francisco, and they open it up. A big, long homestand. One of the longest homestands of the year. 3 teams coming in, plus a rare off day at home.
Right, a day off at home.
You got big plans? Alaskan cruise, or maybe go to Hawaii on that off day?
You know, I canceled both of those plans.
Did you?
Yeah. And I'm thinking maybe of going to San Jose, maybe practice, watch the San Jose Giants play.
Yeah.
Get a little workout in. There's a strike. 2-2.
Well, the minor league seasons around the United States are closing to the end of their season. The regular season ends just about the 1st of September, and then the playoffs start. I think that's the biggest adjustment you have to make when you come out of the minor leagues to the big leagues, is that last month of September. First time you go through it, you have a tendency to be a little tired.
I might. San Jose won the first half. Fresno. Yeah, Fresno's in first place. You know what I might do Thursday? Take the Hank Greenwald nap.
Really? What's that?
That's take a nap right about the time you usually leave for the ballpark.
It's almost like you're doing something wrong.
Lifted out into right field. It'll be Torres and Guillen. It'll be Torres, and that'll end the inning. A run on 2 hits. 9th inning coming up. It'll be Fontenot to lead it off.
Well, check out game 3 of this 3-game series and the final game of the road trip. You can see it tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. on Comcast Sportsnet Live. Barry Zito will take the hill, taking on the Rook, Jaime Garcia, and you'll see it in HD tomorrow here, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area.
Franklin is on a 5-1 lead for the St. Louis Cardinals. Fontenot to lead it off. Ryan Franklin.
There's the numbers for Ryan Franklin. 21 saves and 23 save ops, 28 strikeouts against 6 walks. And Franklin is a 5-pitch closer, which you don't see very often. And he's not going to really impress you with the velocity on his fastball. He'll go high 80s, low 90s, more high 80s than low 90s. But he can throw a curveball, a slider, a split. He sinks the ball, he cuts the ball. He give you a lot of different looks. And he's a strike thrower.
Fontenot drives one to fairly deep right field, but Randy Wynn is going to get there to make the catch. Another park at another time. Maybe something positive for Fontenot, who ends up going 1 for 4 so far in this game. Here's Sanchez. Sanchez is 0 for 3. First pitch down the right field line. Randy Wynn will run out of room. One thing about Randy Wynn that you forget about was how poorly he played right field at AT&T Park. He just never figured out that ballpark.
Yeah. He might be the best right fielder that ever played at AT&T.
I couldn't agree anymore. And there was a guy that won a Gold Glove that played out there. That was Jose Cruz. There's a pitch high to Freddie Sanchez.
I mean, there have been some good ones out there. Ellis Burks played it well. As you mentioned, Jose Cruz. But nobody played it better than Randy Wynn.
There's a shot into left field. That should be a hit for Sanchez. Nate Scherholz has figured it out in AT&T Park. Here's Travis Ishikawa. Ishikawa has the highest average in the major leagues as a pinch hitter. You know how I know that?
How's that?
It says it right there.
Well, yes, it does. But I mean, you were a pinch hitter, and you know you at one time had the franchise record for pinch hits in a single season, and you know how hard it is.
It is hard.
And for a guy to hit 400, especially with a little pop, that's pretty special.
He really is a different type of hitter as a pinch hitter. He's a bit more aggressive, although he wasn't on the last pitch. Franklin at the belt, and the pitch to Ishikawa is a bouncing ball foul. Giants right here trying to put a string of 4 or 5 hits together and then see what happens. They've been known to make things interesting in the ninth. And Ishikawa out swinging. By the way, they've been known to make things interesting hitting and also on defense in the ninth inning. But that's why Giants baseball. Beautiful. Here's Torres. Andres Torres 0 for 3 with a walk. Sanchez is going to go, and the Cardinals will let him go, and it's a strike. Soft line drive, and that's the ball game. So game 2 goes to the St. Louis Cardinals as they win this one behind Chris Carpenter. And the Giants tonight ran into a hot pitcher.
Well, they did, and that's really what you're supposed to do if you're an ace. You're supposed to be able to stop a slide. The positive thing in tonight's ball game, however, I think was the mechanics of Tim Lincecum. I mean, he pitched much better, much more consistently with his command, and that is one thing that the Giants will take out of this game. It wasn't a good end, but they got Lincecum on the right track.
5-1 Cardinals. Giants postgame live is coming up. But first, let's go to the Comcast studios for an update from Sportsnet Central.